Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. So I've just sat and watched and digested everything that brother Wilfried from the French Resistance has brought and said to Celtic. It was an interesting interview. An interview where he said, I'm not a leader. I'm a leader, not a boss. Sorry, he said, I'm a leader, not a boss. Yes, dog. I'm live. Which was always, it's always an interesting Wilfried Nancy Ole. Won't be long until Celtic fans are singing that. But we do need to give the man new time. And it was interesting that he had already called a team meeting for this afternoon to say who's with me, who's not, who wants to stay here and win medals and win championships and who doesn't. That was an interesting one. And the fact that he's also spoken to Martin O'Neill, to talk to Martin O'Neill about the squad. I'm going to jump into some of the comments here because there was already on the channel, there is, God, it's going to be a busy one. There's already 88 comments and we're 1 minute into he's as awkward as Mr. Bean. I don't think so. Wilfried is well spoken. I've got a good feeling about him. I think he's a very interesting guy, and it was interesting that he said as well, look, Brendan didn't do things really wrong. You know, he gave a little nod to Brendan Rodgers, saying that he didn't do too much wrong, and he said that Martin O'Neill did fantastic. And he wants to come in and he doesn't want to change things too quick. He called the team meeting. He wants to get to work tomorrow, talking about the way that they want to play, the way that what he expects from them. And I think it was good calling the team meeting today. You know, it was a good, just clear the air. You know, players will go away and they'll have their little WhatsApp group chat and they'll be thinking, yeah, maybe this guy can come in and do something. I'm not even going to start speaking French. I'm going to tell you, do you know what it reminded me of? Do you know what it reminded me? See when we played Rennes away in 2019, we had Rennes in the Europa and we had Rennes away, and I stayed in Paris overnight. Flew into Paris and flew at an Airbnb. I stayed at an Airbnb in Paris, and stayed with these two French guys. And I got off at this tram stop. They were like, right, get off at this tram stop. I got off at this tram stop, and I swear to God, I thought I thought I'd walked into New York. Comes up for the underground and comes up the train station, and this train stop in Paris, and there's people with shopping trolleys, having barbecues and shopping trolleys and selling the food on the street. And I've got my hood up, I'm like this, and I've got my headphones on, and I'm like, I've got my bag, and I'm like, oh fuck, man, just look like a local. And it was all people just like Wilfried Nancy. There wasn't many white people about, put it this way. And there's this wee white Scottish guy just walking right through the middle of everyone, just going, fuck it, head down and get on with it. And I was to try and find this apartment block, and I could not find this apartment block for love nor money. And so I gets on the phone and Barry, where are you, Barry? And I was like, oh, fuck, I've just run the corner, mate. And these two big, huge French guys, they must have been about 6 foot fucking 4 each. And then they're walking about the streets going, Barry. I'm like, it's all right, mate, I'm here. They were shitting themselves in case I got done in by the locals. And I was like, it reminded me of that trip. And it was a fantastic trip. And I loved Rennes, to be fair. Rennes was a fantastic place to visit. Celtic girls on it tonight. Hail, hail, Celtic family Baz, £20 super chat. Thank you for that. But yeah, they're listening to Wilfried Nancy and listening to him talking. It just brought back all those memories of 2019 and being going to Paris, you know, staying in Paris, and it was the only reason I stayed on the outskirts of Paris because the Airbnb was 35 quid for the night, and I'm like, I'm not staying in Paris paying 100 and odd quid for a hotel because I flew on a different flight for everyone else, so I was meeting up with all the lads in Rennes, and it was fantastic. Just one of those. It's just one of those little stories that happen when you go to when you go to away games, and it all come flooding back to me. And then the only reason I'm talking about it is hearing him sitting talking tonight. The memory come flooding back of that away trip. Fantastic away trip that was. The result wasn't great, but that was Celtic and Euro away days, wasn't it? But anyway, Liam, how do I call it? Are you on? If you're on Twitter, you can get me on Twitter. If you're on Facebook, you'll see there's a link to the Facebook channel somewhere. You can get me on that, mate. A lot of people get me through the Facebook page. That's easier. There's a lot of people don't have Twitter or Instagram. One of those two. It's the easiest way. Or I think there might be even let me just see. Is there? Not that I ever check email addresses. The channel does have an email address, but I never check it. Oh yeah, there's an email address, business contact, help at hoopsmerch.co.uk. I should really check that. I should really check that. Somebody might be wanting to sponsor the channel. Pay me millions, billions and billions. Not a chance. Not a chance. Maeda, Hatate, Bernardo, are saying I'm gone, says Kieran. Interesting. I don't think there was a lot of negativity come out of today. I think that, just seen the clip of him, the meeting in the cafeteria, weird place, but I think that's what's good about him. He's not coming in and he doesn't want to be their pals. Brendan Rodgers came in and ultimately wanted to be their friends. He wanted to be their friends. He wanted to know everything about them. Do you know what I mean? He wanted to be their buddies, and at the same time, you do things his way. He's come in and said, "Look, I'm not a boss. I'm a leader. I'm just here to take the flak. I'm here to lead you. I'm here to make you better players." And for me, that was one of the big things from the interview. The fact that he doesn't seem to have an ego. Is that the right thing? Do you know? He's not got. Ange came in, and Ange was big. Do you know? He was very commanding, and it was like, and it was no nonsense. So we've had the no nonsense management style from Ange Postecoglou. Okay, we've had that style of management, and some of the players didn't like it. Matt O'Reilly didn't like it. Matt O'Reilly wanted to leave if Ange was still going to be here. Brendan Rodgers had to convince Matt O'Reilly to stay. When you look at other players that may not have got on with Brendan Rodgers for various reasons, there's probably a sheet like this of reasons that people and the playing staff didn't like Brendan Rodgers. But he's come in and he seems to be coming in, and it's, we're not going to change stuff too quick. There is a philosophy, the way we want to play, the way that we want to do things, and things that we want to achieve. You're either with us or you're not with us. Simple as that. Just have an open conversation. Let's just put your cards on the table. If you want away in the next window, tell me now. Boss, I'm wanting away the next window. And he's the type of guy that, unlike Brendan Rodgers, would hold a grudge against you. And he's coming across as the type of guy where, do you know what? I think that this guy has come in and he's just going to go, do you know, and whatever you want, and if that's you go with it, to the players. And the fact that one of the first things that he did was talk to the younger players when he came in, because that will give the younger players in the academy a bit of a boost, because usually when a new manager comes in, the younger players, they never really see the manager unless it's at a game or anything. but he's come in and he spoke to them at Lennoxtown today, and it's been a good thing. I don't know what the younger players were doing at Lennoxtown, unless it's younger players that are in and around the first team. Um, but I mean, the younger players should all be down at this at the new training complex. Wouldn't it have been easier just to get everybody down at Barrowfield? But anyway, but yeah, I've got a good feeling about him. I think that he's a guy that is going to have a no nonsense approach. He he seems very approachable, which is for players can only be a good thing, because I think that we're going to go through a transition. We are going to go through a transition, and sorry if I don't see some of your comments. There's 250. I'm just trying to get. I see Michelle's getting. Thanks for that, Michelle. Giving Liam the Twitter. But yeah, getting back to him. The whole place is a place for Cole. What the hell do we care now? Brendan was cryptic and slightly honest. Wilfried was honest. He's giving me the French Martin vibes. I think that it's a good thing that he's. I mean, I thought he was a bit too relaxed when I first seen him coming in, and it wasn't. Do you know when you expect managers to come in, you expect them to be, I'm the manager, right? It's like, but he's come in and he's went, yeah, it's cool. Just everyone calm the fuck down. Do you know? And it's putting people at ease, and that can always be an issue when he has that meeting. When he had that meeting today with players, and the fact that he had it in the canteen, he's went, fucking. Do you know what? It's like, where else are we going to have it? We'll have it in the canteen. Fuck it. Sit there. Get the coffees on the go. Martin. Martin, go and finish that coffee that you started 7 weeks ago. And it was interesting that he spoke to Martin first, so that he went into the meeting knowing, you know, there's niggles for this player, there's niggles for that player. Martin O'Neill would give him his honest opinion on the squad, tell him what the squad needs, because he asked him, and it's not often that you get that handover. And this is what's really, really interesting about this situation, because normally when you get the handover of the managerial baton, if you like, at Celtic, the baton is handed, it's thrown from in fact, you're picking it up off the ground. There's not even a throw. It's the baton's been covered in all sorts of dirt and just lying about, and you've got to pick it up and you've got to dust it off, and then you've got to go, right, let's get this team into some kind of fighting order. And even he said it himself. He's coming into Celtic at a completely different stage than what he's used to coming into a club. You know, you're coming into a club that's not necessarily got a big negative cloud hanging over the top of it. Martin O'Neill was managed to take the big negative dark clouds of doom that were over Celtic Park, and everyone was like, we are fucked, we're not going to win anything this season. Do you know, I could run through the chat and name people in the chat that were just like, we're fucked, we are totally fucked this season. But Martin's come in and went, do you know what, these players just needed to be told they're good players. Martin O'Neill said the fans just need to be told you're the best fans in the world. I wonder if there's going to be any space for Martin O'Neill upstairs in the future at Celtic. If Dermot Desmond has any sense in him whatsoever, he would get rid of Lawwell tomorrow and put Martin O'Neill in Lawwell's job. And that would put us in a fantastic place going forward. He's picked up a championship winning team going for 5 in a row. It's now joint top of the league and just beaten Feyenoord. The baton has been wiped clean. It has, hasn't it? It's not just been wiped clean. He's been given a team. I'm sorry, I'm going to jump out. I'm going right to the end of the comments there just to get this one up. The baton's not just been wiped clean. It's been fine-tuned. The engine's been changed. The bodywork may be the same, but it is no longer a Honda Civic. It's a fine-tuned animal. And that's what Brendan Rodgers didn't do to this team. It's the same players. Do you know, Martin O'Neill had the same players as what Brendan Rodgers had. All Brendan Rodgers did was get all these players back up. Do you know, for whatever reason, they antagonised them. Martin O'Neill's come in and went, "You're champions. You do remember that. You know, you are the champions of this league. You're not bad players. You're lacking in a little bit of confidence. You're playing positions that you shouldn't really be playing in." And by that, he meant the width of the pitch at Celtic Park. And I still think that it's unbelievable. Just simple tweaks is telling the wingers to stay out wide. It's where Brendan Rodgers were like, fucking narrow the fucking pitch, you fucking clowns. Paul Bear says when Brendan Rodgers bolted, the season really began. As long as it keeps on going, and as long as Wilfried comes in and doesn't make too many changes, because that is always what could get players back up. If he comes in and he said that he was excited to get into the manager's chair. He said that Celtic are a brand that fits him really well, going with his upbringing, and that Celtic are a club for all. And straight away, he come out and he was being positive about the club. He was being positive about the way that he sees the club and the way that the club, he wants them to go. And he wants everyone to be together. You know, the board smashed positivity into 70 million pieces. I don't think this is about the board tonight. I don't think it's can't be positive when the board extend bans on ultras, for fuck's sake. Stop being so easily distracted. Mate, I'm not getting into that conversation tonight, because if you're going to go into games when you're banned, they know the score. Listen, the boys now expect to be banned. So you're going to come back and complain when the boys are now banned because the Green Brigade, 50 Green Brigade went in with the boys. They play the game. They know what to expect. They're ultras. You live and die by the ultras code. That's the fact. Do you know what I mean? And that's all I'm saying on that situation. The board has a new motto. I'm not even going to go in for it. Can't ban the full Green Brigade badge for the action of 2. Oh, mate, I've got a letter from when I was banned from standing in the section from years ago. I know how it works. Right? I know how it works. And the ultras know how it works. So I don't see any of them complaining. Do you know, it was always a case of one out, all out. Simple fact. If one out, we're all out. Do you know? Anyway, that's enough of that conversation, because this is all about positivity with the new manager. If you want to go and argue about board stuff, go and do it on Facebook. Mind you, Baz, there's no proof of what the Green Brigade supposed to have done. Yeah, I know there's no proof, but do you know there was no proof that we fucking demolished the seats at Motherwell until Celtic got the fucking police to put them all boarded together. Get over it. They know, the Green Brigade know exactly the game they're playing. The boys know the game they're playing. They know that if they've to deal with it, they've deal with it. They're not the ones that are crying on social media about it. That's for sure. They know the boys expect to get banned now. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, it's the people that are not in the groups that do the biggest moaning. And do you know, I've seen a comment today. It's the people that watch games with dodgy fire sticks that do the biggest moaning about people that actually go to games. And it's true. You know, we had this conversation a long time ago. But anyway, it is a club open to all, and this is a channel open to all. But let's get back to what the video is about. It's nothing to do with the board. It's nothing to do with the Green Brigade. It's about the new dawn under the new manager. And if you can't get behind the new manager, don't support Celtic. Don't support Celtic. Baz, I want us to be all positive for people allowed their views. Yeah, they are allowed their views. Yeah, I'm all for people standing with the Green Brigades, but at the same time, they know the score. That's all that I'm saying. They know the rules. They know the rules, mate. They know what they're getting themselves into, and you know, it's the ultras code, as they say. But I'm not part of it, and if, you know, I support them in their exploits. But at the end of the day, tonight it's all about brother Wilfried Nancy and the fact that Celtic is away for life. Do you know? Celtic is a way for life, a way of life, and that's what he says. And he wants us all to get together and back him and the players. And if you can't back him and the players, you need to back the new guy. Because see, if you don't, look, Wilfried Nancy said it himself. Players are the soul of any club, and especially Celtic. Because you have people with money that come to games, you have people that don't have a lot of money that come to games. They spend their hard-earned cash following the team. It's up to him and the players to make sure that they make the people feel better. They make the fans feel better. And when it goes through hard times, like in a European context, he wants us to stick together. The fans and the team. This is all about the fans and the team. This has nothing to do with the fans and the board tonight. And I'm not speaking anymore about the board. I was never behind Rodgers. I stopped supporting the Celtic there, Baz. Yeah, Paul, you were always against Rodgers. But you were proving a point, mate. That's it. And I'm having no more chat about board stuff because it's not the night about board stuff. Do you know? Baz agree, they know the rules. Exactly, they know the rules and they know what we're getting into. Anyway, the end, we move on from that. Move on to the fact that Wilfried Nancy, Celtic, talking about Celtic, I'm 100% behind the new dodgy fire stick crew, says Stuart Ramsey. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, there's a bigger issue at Celtic. And it's the woman who is in charge of sending the documentation to company's house. As I eat an olive live on telly. Wonder if Brother Wilfried eat olives. Do you think he's an olive kind of guy? Don't know. But anyway, the Frenchman who joined the club on a 2.5-year deal on Wednesday evening, the documentation was sent to the London Stock Exchange that Wilfried Nancy had been appointed as Celtic boss. Except in the document, it read Wilfried. They spelt his name wrong. Not just once, but 5 times. Such a Celtic thing to do. And that's a legal document. And the fact that it shows the incompetence of people inside Celtic when they get the new manager's name wrong. Not once, but 5 times. But it would be interesting to find out where Sean Maloney now fits in, where Mark Fotheringham fits in. I think that Fozzie, he will leave Celtic, and I think that Fozzie will be seeking out new challenges as he hopes to get back into top level football in a coaching capacity. And I've got to say, he is one player, he's one part of the backroom staff that I really want to stay at Celtic, because I think that he is one person that has a lot to offer to Celtic Football Club. And I know that Wilfried Nancy has brought in his own backroom staff. He's brought in his own backroom staff, but it is a small backroom staff when you look at it compared to Celtic. So hopefully over the next couple of days, we'll see what the full complement of backroom staff looks like. And we'll definitely see on Sunday when Celtic entertain Hearts. When you look at the league games that Celtic do have over the next couple of weeks, it's an interesting time. The matches that we do have coming up. Obviously, we scraped by with a 1-0 win. Could you say we scraped by with a 1-0 win over Dundee? We're now at home this weekend with a full house. Wilfried Nancy will have been speaking to the media tomorrow. He'll speak to the mainstream media after Celtic put out their exclusive interview, so that, you know, we'll do an interview with you first before the reprobates of Scottish football and English media descend to bring down you in Scottish football, because that's what they do. And then he'll get asked about the game for maybe about 2 or 3 minutes. It's going to be a long interview for him tomorrow. I hope he has a good training session with the players. And then it is on to a training session on Saturday morning to see who's fit, because ultimately he goes into a game where there are players that are not firing in all cylinders fitness-wise. He's going to be without Sriracha. He could potentially be without Dyson Maeda. And if it does, it means that he's going to go into the game with Johnny Kenny. Johnny Kenny, a player that Martin O'Neill... I'd love to see what Martin O'Neill said, because Celtic only put out little snippets. Celtic only put out little bits of what was said in the dressing room after the game. And I think that it would be great to see that full interview on Martin O'Neill going around all the players. And I'd love to know what he says to young Johnny Kenny. And then Scalesy, you know, we heard what he says to Scalesy, you know, big player for the club. Even Martin O'Neill knows it. Martin O'Neill knows that Scalesy is a fantastic player he's our best defender. He's player of the season for me so far. And unless someone can come in over the next 3 or 4 months, and you never know, the manager might bring in a player that will go, Jesus, where's this guy been hiding? But for me, player of the season so far at Celtic has to be Scales. And I know he had a shocker, you know. Video of Nancy arriving on a plane, etc., just released. Now there you go. Let me just get this. That's the Celtic training one. Who released it? Dyson will be fine for Sunday. It's just a flesh wound. Lol. Yeah, I think so. Johnny Kenny was top goal scorer under Martin O'Neill. Johnny Kenny's a fantastic young player, and I think that he's got a big future at Celtic, as has Scales, which is crazy to think about. And I know he had a bad game last night, but you know, there was maybe a lot on his mind. You never know. Players might have been thinking, we cannot lose this game, and talking about Wilfried Nancy coming in, a lot of players would be thinking, geez, that's at the back of their mind, but they've got a game to play. But anyway, the fact that he has come into the club and he's looking to improve players, you know, he says that he's not going to dramatically change things. He spoke to Martin O'Neill to pick the brains of Martin O'Neill, and he reckons that Martin O'Neill says that he's a perfect fit for Celtic. He said, when talking about the club's story and talking about the fact that of him being a human being as a coach and the football club and the connection and the way of life, that's what he wants for Celtic. That's what he wants the fans. He wants the fans to be loving the fact that they have a feel-good factor about supporting the club. He knows how important it is for us to keep on winning. He thanked Martin O'Neill for restoring the feel-good factor at Celtic Park. He says that he met the legendary manager for the first time this afternoon, and he spoke for the club's training ground. He said, I've just spoke to Martin. I knew him as a coach. What a guy. Just what a guy. So humble, so genuine, he said, talking about Martin O'Neill. And then he went on to say that they had the discussion. He wanted to ask him advice about certain things, we shared a few things about on the way that the game should be played, and I'm not surprised the way that he is. As a coach, we sometimes have a formula. This is a mix of everything he says. So depends on the day. I am an authentic and genuine person, and I want to be this way with the players. For me, Martin's been really good. I don't talk about tactical aspects with Martin O'Neill. It says because we all have our own points, and managers will all have. But when it came to talking about players and talking about what Martin's done over the last couple of weeks, and how Martin, he'd be picking the brains of Martin O'Neill, saying, what did you do to finally get the players to get the players behind the scenes? Watch on YouTube. Behind I'm reading about the Celtic thing. He says he watched the game back and he took it in with joy, and that the players were playing with confidence. He says, I'm not saying that Brendan did a bad thing, but he's saying that it was good to see the way he was playing. So he came in on a private plane, came in on a private jet. Oh, the Huns will love it. It's got fucking a red, white, and blue stripe on the fucking plane. Oh, yeah. And then there was the bus, Mercedes Sprinter, bringing him and his mate into the. Was it 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them? And they're going into. What airport was that they flew into then? Was that Glasgow Airport? It's an interest. Don't think it was Glasgow Airport, was it? Was it? Super chat from Danny Cassie, £10 super. Thank you for that. Let me just jump back into the. I'm just reading the chat. There's no point reading the chat sometimes. It just descends into mayhem. I'm going to start doing the videos without chat on it. It's on the naughty step. But there is a video out now of Wilfried Nancy. I'll let you all go and watch that, since the chat's just descended into complete mayhem. They're driving along. Yeah, it looks as if it was coming in. Was it Glasgow? Don't know. Anyway, have a fantastic evening. I shall be back in the morning. A big shout out to the people that give out the super chats tonight. Let's just go back into the comments a minute. Baz, can you say hello to my brother Richie, who watches your blog every day? Cheers. Hi, Richie. There you go. I've seen it as Wilfried, mostly spelled. Yeah. Celtic spelt it the wrong way. It was Prestwick Airport. Was it Prestwick Airport? Somebody was missing on that one. Anyway, big shout out to Super Chat from Celtic Girl. She's crazy. She's a fantastic supporter of the channel, as is Danny Cassie. And in the Celtic video, there's 522 comments. No wonder I'm not reading them all. We've only been on for half an hour. Cumbernauld is closer to Lennoxtown. Yeah, I know it is, but I don't think that was no Cumbernauld Airport. Not with the barbed wire around it. So Celtic just hitting it out. Anyway, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are. Tomorrow is a big day for Celtic. It is a case of the new manager, Wilfried Nancy, gets to meet. Well, he's already met the players. He has the first training session with the players, and they start talking about team tactics and the way that he wants them to play. Will there be any dramatic change in the team this weekend? Will there be any dramatic formation changes, or will it be as it is to try and get one over Hearts, who are a team on the rocks? We win the game at the weekend, we go top of the league. It's as simple as that. And that's all that this man could wish for. And I hope that he is as successful as the previous 2 Celtic managers. On that note, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all across the world because I'm going to watch this video.